Yes, greetings and the best of salutations. There will be patience, peace, prayer, prosperity, and power. Yes, I just always like to express myself because everybody have need of self-expression. This creation is a perfect expression. This riddle or this conundrum, enigma of called of life. I I personally try to deal with this sense of impoverishment, um, sense of when it comes to uh, not being uh, mentally, emotionally, um, and even financially, yes, impoverished, like you're being deprived of something, the basic necessities, um, in a world of abundance, you know. I look at some of the people who are celebrated, and this is social comparison because that is a problem, personal problems, and it looks like the that how they are, celebrated on the screen, uh, yet this maybe as humans, uh, by us wanting to be here, is a we want to be celebrated on this screen here, this plane of existence, and probably many fought to be here, So we're here, but this life, But my question is in this talk is that I always want to. I do my best to try to uh, want to beat um, uh, anyone at this game, And I mean the game for me is the game of confidence, and the game is also must learn in the manner and way in which um, I, I I take my cues from. I talk about that. Um, only because of you look at how this the system is set up here. Um, and I don't. I know life doesn't consist here in this geographical location, but how a certain minority group of people, uh, you know, are in, at least in control, it seems as though this is their way of, this is their way of life, their um, what's culture hegemony. I mean, this is the humanity that they're giving to the world, somewhat of a manifest destiny, and I guess 99% of the resources that mineral or whatever resources that any people need is possibly in Africa, and and how those resources have been misused and abused and exploited, and and how the psychology of one's mentality um, is is the result of what he or she produces. I mean, in the climate and even in their way of life. And this goes beyond race. This goes beyond class. This goes beyond religion. This goes beyond gender. Yes. So, the game is confidence. I think Garvey says that, one who has no confidence, he's twice defeated. Confidence. And I always say that we have to replenish the continuity of our confidence in cooperating with one another. And what I mean by we, I mean, the way of life of a people who were interacting with one another in a cooperative manner. Something comes in and interrupt that way of life, and people stop cooperating with each other. And I mean cooperating with each other to a point where that they start to take advantage of one another, and in this world of abundance, So where do we take our cues from? I like it into the English alphabet system. In dealing with the word game. I like to deal with the word A, and I like to deal alphabet A, and deal with the alphabet G, and the alphabet Q. Yes. So APQ, is where do we take our cues from when it comes to a fight response to peace relief, to a peace relief mission, Where do we take our cues from, and who do we take our cues from in a fight response to a peace relief mission? And in the manner and the way in which we are prepared, or our body is prepared mentally, emotionally, how we are prepared for that action. Yes. And what is the criteria and that which needs to be established? I like to say that the purpose of coming together is to apply what one have come to learn to know, and that is that we must come together in the spirit of cooperation, must be guided by coordination, and speak from the authority of resiliency, because biologically, us being on this scene, we were resilient, and therefore we are here, Yes. So, but we come together, as Nina Fuller would say, to give constructive value to each other. So that's why I like to say I promote the value of self-worth, and I ain't talking about in a sense of a person who has who has been financially successful, that his value, he has more value than the one who's not financially successful, that he or she has less value. You see, that type of taxonomy, or that classification and categorization of character is really unjust. And we know that I've learned that character is the outgrowth of one's humanity. Yes. So, you must be a stand-up person. Yes. Being a stand-up person, we must deal with each other on the square. Yes, we must, meaning we must, be fair and in our leveling with one another, meaning being balanced, because when you have understanding I mean, you have balance, understanding, speak clearly. So, but what is the instructions that needs to be established? How do you, come to understand the unknown, or assess the unknown? You must first calculate that which is known, and that's mathematics. Yes, that's mathematics. That's the instructions, Yes. And then that's the how. That's the how. When the manner and way in which associated which we take our cues from. And then they said the here is deals with the universal truth. And uno, which means you one in direction. Yes. And it is something that is natural to a point where then it becomes, when it becomes perfected, perfected, yes. In understanding, and when you perfect something, you become proficient. When you become proficient, you become a master of it. Then you deal with the God, in nature, new life is the reproduction of what existed before it. Yes. That's the God. So, and the manner and way in which we take our cues from, when it comes to this fight or peace relief and this fight response, because people only respond to the extent of the injury that has been damaged to his or her humanity. And cues is a signal, this peace relief mission is one, call it, that prepares the mind, the body, and the spirit, just to prepare us mentally, emotionally, psychological, whatever, just to be prepared in response this when it comes from where we take our cues from. And I'm going beyond race, I'm going beyond class, I'm going beyond gender, I'm going beyond religion. We want to be about something that goes beyond that could be, utilized, as a means, a manner, in a way, for this peace relief mission and fight response, because your hormones, they just respond naturally to things, but they want to ward off something naturally, but the body must be prepared for it. Yes. The body must be prepared. You must be prepared mentally, you must be prepared emotionally, you must be prepared psychologically, you must be prepared spiritually, you must be prepared, and sometimes you may be prepared financially. Because people have sometimes finances changes one's outlook on life. Sometimes you're not prepared for it. Even someone may catch you off guard. You may get out of character because you wasn't prepared for it. Because your body, you want to try to ward off any disease, which means a disease. Remember, it is a peace relief mission, and a fight response, an understanding from whom and where we take our cues from. Yes. And this being, we've got to realize this too, is that we all have reason for being. Anything that comes into our sphere of existence, it has a reason for being. Because think about it. If anything happened 20, 30, 40, 100 years ago, in the past, you think that was a test then, you think you're not going to be tested now, because a test is designed to see how you process information. So we're still talking about this peace relief mission in preparing the body to respond adequately and properly or appropriately to whatever it is that's going on in the environment or anything that is going on inside of our human makeup. Yes. And where do and whom do it or you or I take our cues from? Yes. What triggers there come a time where people are going to be easily offended? A trigger in a trap. Yes. So, we got to realize this, that even when someone is updating their data in their file, they are recording it because they want to see how you respond and how you react, from whom and what you take your cues from. They want to see that. I'm just saying the manner and the way and the intentions of the nature of a human being and his intentions of filing such data, it could misuse that data and abuse that data at their advantage, whereas put you at a disadvantage. And this how they try to determine where you're going to be a asset or a liability in the society. Like how your parents are raised and how you were raised. They didn't go to school and you may went to school, or they went to school and you went to school. That is a measurement. That is a gauge. But that's not something that is etched in stone. Yes, but that's the gauge in which people use. Some will call it creator cause in order to create an effect. So we're dealing with bringing the understanding that these energies that which we are made up of, and the manner and way in which we respond. So that's why our energy must be synergized, And that's what I'm talking about. Confidence, confidence. I'm talking in my head about loud. Yeah. So we must go about in perfecting, and not allow someone to perfect and become a master of in the manner and the way in which they think, that we take our cues from something in the intentions of their nature, that the nature of their intentions is not good. So, but we must realize that circumstances makes us other than ourselves. So therefore we must become a master of circumstances. So then we talk about what is this based on? These cues, it's hereditary and it's environmental. The conditions and the composition of them. That which we take our cues from. It's hereditary and it's environmental. In this life, in that which we are living, you see. Yes. And then once we realize of something that which is based, what is based on hereditary and environment, then we can best give the proper diagnosis or prognosis, whatever gnosis you want to use, gnosis, you know what I'm saying? Whatever form of approach or knowledge base you want to use, so that the environment can become a conducive environment for inner growth and outward development when it comes to eliminating and get rid of this ease that doesn't that put us at odds when we are not at peace with self, nor we are not at peace with one another. Yes. Something that is hereditary and something that has to do with the environment. Because our body is only responding to that which it takes its cues from, and our body is only responding mentally, emotionally, physically, psychologically, what have you, because it is not equipped, nor has it not been prepared to respond adequately, properly, and appropriately, because that which do not respond appropriately, which means that there is a unbalanced entity that is going on, there's an imbalance. So therefore something must come and compensate to bring forth the balance in when it comes to the environment, when it comes to the condition, when it comes to the circumstances, situation, when it comes to the circumstances, and then we can be prepared for action. In response to a dis-ease of the mind, of the body, that's in the environment that could be associated with, that's once again hereditary. Now, I'm no medical doctor now. You see. So it's not a game and it's not a joke. I just say, where do you and whom do you take your cues from? And are you prepared to be able to have the right, correct tools in conjunction with the fight response? Because the body is, if it's not prepared and equipped, it's not able to fight at an optimal level. Mentally, you may not be able to fight or respond at an optimal level. Emotionally, we may not be able to fight at an optimal level. Yes. Psychologically. And so forth and so on. So yes. Just want to be able to beat this or beat anyone at their game who does not, with the best intentions, when it comes to peace relief mission and fighting in response, they're gasping for air, dilution, pollution, the body just want to well, other than that, may we be granted success for our labor and joy for our sorrows. Peace relief mission. Fight response. And being prepared for action. Spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually, physically, spiritually, financially, religiously, politically, from which we take our cues from in the best of way, in the best of manner, when it comes to bringing out the best of our humanity and dealing with this mental, psychological, emotional, political, intellectual, educational, whatever it is, any form of dis-ease. Because once Chinka Diop said, once you throw off the ecology of the environment, one's intellectual aptitude for learning becomes difficult. Yes. And may we be granted once again joy for our sorrows. Until next time, may we be careful of this sensationalism of which we take our cues from. Talk to you.